Chris, our listeners know, and you know, that there is a piece of legislation that's been in place for many decades called the Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act, which is how consumers interact with the credit bureau.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also the Federal Fair Debt Collections Practices Act that dictates the things that collectors can and cannot do.
That's right.
And they violate that pretty much wholesale. Not all of them. There are some collectors that run a clean shop, but the credit card collection industry, as an example, pretty much universally scum, pretty much violate that. And, of course, one of the things that happens when a collector doesn't collect is they sue you, get a judgment lien against you, and then they take the money out of your bank account. This article saying the IRS began sending out payments this week for the CARE Stimulus Act, starting with those who already had bank account information on file so the IRS could do direct deposit. For others, the IRS will send out paper checks, though that will take weeks or even months for people to receive those. A collection agency can't garnish the check unless you deposit it into an account it has access to. To avoid having the stimulus payment garnished by a debt collector, monitor your bank account closely and take out the money as quickly as possible if they have a lien against your account. So what's ending up happening is the collections industry has been stimulated.
Oh, absolutely they have. And they're going to continue to reach in and to grab at whatever they can. That's alarming, Dave.
Yeah, and you know, this happened for a long time. When we first started seeing it, when Social Security recipients, instead of getting a hard check in the mail, which they used to kind of be beautiful checks, actually, they were very ornate,
Mm-hmm.
and treasury check, you know, and now some people still get a hard check like that and then make a physical deposit, but most people do direct deposit. Now, you cannot garnish, it's illegal to garnish, you can garnish wages, but you can't garnish a Social Security check.
Right.
But you can take the money out of someone's account if it gets deposited, and guess what? Most Social Security checks are now direct deposited. So it's not unusual for collectors to scarf Social Security money when it comes in. And the same thing's true with the stimulus money. If they have a judgment lien against you and a lien on your bank accounts, and the IRS sends this money into your account, you're getting no stimulus whatsoever, and the stimulation will occur at the collection agency.
Wow.
So you really have to be on your guard in these situations. And the sad thing is that a lot of people that would be affected by this are the very ones that no one tells this stuff to.
That's right. That's exactly right. And Dave, unfortunately, I read also in another article, if you were using a tax preparer, that a lot of times that stimulus check could be going toward them if they've set up a bank account for you because they remove their fee and give you your refund.
Right.
And so it's really important, as you said, all the way around, everybody, is to really be plugged in on this and know exactly what's going on with your account and be aware.
That's one of those rip-off advance your refund things.
Yes.
So like an H&R Block advances your refund, but then they set up a checking account in your name for the refund to come back directly to them to pay the loan they made you.
That's right.
And if the IRS has that on file, they're going to get your stimulus money.
That's where your stimulus money's going to.
The difference is I don't think H&R Block will keep it.
No, I don't think they will.
You just have to go find it over there.
You'll have to find it.
Because you'll be wondering why you didn't get your check, and there it is over there because you did a stupid refund advance loan. That was stupid. Did I mention that was stupid?
Yeah.
I think I mentioned that.
I think you said it. Do it one more time.
It was stupid.
There we go.
All right. Just make sure. Hit the rim shot, baby. And, man, oh, man.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I hadn't read that one.
Yeah.
But I can visualize how that happens. So any way the IRS has a bank account number on you and you have done business with them for any reason through that bank account, that may be where your stimulus check is. And if a collector had a lien against it, or if you still owed H&R Block a little money, they would, of course, deduct that from that.
Yeah.
Now, they're not taking this out like a tax refund. They'll scarf that if you're behind on your student loans.
Oh, yes.
But they're not doing that with a stimulus check. They are sending these out in spite of your student loan being in default, as I understand it. And we did finally get a ruling that it is not taxable for sure, right?
That is correct, Dave. And looking at this, they are calling this a tax credit. It will not be counted as income, is what they're saying, what tax experts are saying right now. And so, again, we gotta wait and see.
I do love that they have made everybody happy about this. That they're giving you some of your money and they're borrowing money to do that. And everybody's just happy.
Well, how are they borrowing, Dave?
We're all just happy.
How are they borrowing?
Well, they're in debt. The government's in debt. It doesn't do anything but borrow money. It's got a deficit. It can't run up an extra $2 trillion in expense without borrowing it. So they borrowed more money of your money to give you your money, and now you feel like they gave you a gift. This is the greatest emotional scam in history. This thing called government. I mean, they just absolutely wear your butt out, and you just, thank you. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you, Nancy Pelosi, for saving my poor little life because you gave me some of my money that you borrowed on my behalf. I mean, what's the difference in this? Well, there's a difference because you'll never pay it, be your grandkids paying it. But you run up a credit card, it's about the same stinking thing, except then you hand the credit card to your grandkids.
That's right. Well, and do you remember, okay, you've been doing this 25, 30 years. What was the debt, the smallest debt you can remember us being in as a country?
Oh, I don't. I'd have to go back and look in 1992 when I turned on the microphone what the deficit was. I don't know. Okay,
because we're at 22 trillion right now.
I would guess it was 1 or 2 trillion.
Golly.
That would be my guess.
I mean, that's scary.
We ought to look it up at the break and figure it out.
But that's just scary that we just added 2 trillion that quickly.
And they're getting ready to do it again.
You think?
Yeah, they're going to do it again. Yeah, they're not through. It's just printing money. I mean, how could it be of any harm?
Wow.
And let me just tell you, I'm glad you guys are getting some relief. I'm not making fun of you if you're hurting. We're here to help hurting people. It's what we do. We're not throwing you under the bus. But darling, if $1,200 changes your life, your financial life, you were already struggling. I mean, you already had trouble. If $1,200, you either had an income problem, you had a debt problem, you had an outgo problem. If $1,200 makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, then you are already struggling long before you ever heard the words coronavirus.